Hello, friends, and welcome back to English Classes Online. My name is Benjamin. In today's video, we are going to look at how to write a letter that describes things of interest. This video is aimed at helping you improve your writing skills. And writing a letter is really a skill that everyone needs. So if you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Make sure you click on the bell icon as well, so that whenever a new video is uploaded on this channel, you will be notified instantly. You will find a free PDF file that I have provided in the description box. You will find a link to it. It's a free PDF file that teaches, the basic units of English grammar. It is just to help you improve your knowledge of the English grammar. So if you are interested in it, you can download it free of charge by clicking on the link you will find in the description box. You will also find an ebook that is entitled Good Success in English. It's my ebook that I have written and published. It is an all-encompassing ebook. It is a complete study package for effective English learning. So if you desire to learn English and to gain proficiency in the use of the language, this ebook will be very helpful to you. It explains the various topics that are really important to enable you learn English effectively, from the writing skills to the grammatical structures, talking about the writing skills. All the forms of writing are explained in the book. Whether you are talking about essay writing or report writing or article writing or speech writing or story writing. Now, whatever form of writing, debate writing, name it, they are all actually explained in the book with samples, with illustrations that will show you step by step how you can do it. And also you will find a chapter on comprehension, a chapter on summary writing. You'll find chapters on other important aspects of English learning, such as spelling rules, punctuation marks, various grammatical rules, English orals, or oral English if you like, talking about phonetics and phonology, vowel sounds, speech sounds, stress patterns, all aspects of oral English. You will find it treated adequately in this book. In addition to all this, you will also find past questions and answers that will enable those who are preparing for their English exams to know exactly how to answer English questions in their exams. So this book is a complete package, a complete study package for anyone who desires to learn English. So you just click on the link in the description box and it will take you to the book page where you can grab your own copy of the ebook. Having said this, let's dive right away into the lesson. All right. Today we want to look at letter writing, a letter that describes things of interest, a letter that enables you to improve your writing skills. And we are taking the question from Lagos State Basic Education Certificate Examination of 2016. the English Studies theory part, and section A, which is essay. Now, the question we are going to illustrate with is question number 1A, and it reads, write a letter to your friend who attends a village school, telling him 3 things in your school that make school life interesting. So this is actually the particular question we want to look at. The question is, intended to test your ability to describe things, in a letter to your friend. So that's why we have called it a letter that describes things of interest. All right. You are asked to write a letter to your friend who attends a village school, telling him 3 things in your school that make school life interesting. All right. So let's first look at the features of informal letter. When you write an informal letter, which a letter to your friend really belongs to, of course, you begin with the writer's address and date. You write your address, you write the date, followed by the salutation. In this case, you are going to write dear, and then you put the name of your friends. I don't really advise my students to write dear friend. It looks so common, and in real life, honestly, when you have a good friend, you don't wake up just calling him friend. You call your friend by his or her first name, and that is just the way it is. So I encourage my students to write a letter, that is that captures a real life situation as much as possible. I emphasize that when you write to someone, write to them in a conversational tone. The way you speak to them when you meet them should be the way you write to them. Don't try to be artificial. All right. So when you talk to your friend, you address your friend, you call your friend by his or her first name. So when you write to them, do the same thing. So you can write dear John or dear, James or dear Rose, as the case may be. Of course, other forms of informal letter is a letter you write to your father. So you write dear father, to your mother, dear mother, and so on and so forth. Now, the third feature is the content of the letter, which can be subdivided into 3 parts: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. And after this, we have the subscription or closing, which is usually yours sincerely. And then after a comma, that follows yours sincerely, the next thing will be your first name and full stop. So writing an informal letter is a very simple thing, and you need to familiarize yourself with this simple procedure. Now, I want to show you a sample of the letter, all right? A sample of the letter. And then, of course, at this point, we are going to take a short break. And when we are back, then I will show you in details and step by step how to write this type of letter. So stick around and I'll be right back. Welcome back to the class. At this juncture, we want to look at how to write this letter. Don't forget that you first need to look at the letter and know exactly what you have been asked to write. Now, the question again, we look at it again. Write a letter to your friend who attends a village school, telling him 3 things in your school that make school life interesting. Now, how do you begin to write this type of letter? First of all, create an outline. That means jot down the points. What are the 3 things that you are going to, discuss? You jot them down. All right. What are the three things? Is it clubs and societies that interest you? Is it the school library? Is it sports? Or what other thing? The spelling bee? Those things that make life interesting at school. You jot down three of them because you are asked to discuss three. So now let's look at the three points, the three interesting things, and how we have been able to discuss them in this sample letter. Now, the first thing is your address. So you can see here, Sabo High School, comma, Ojo, comma, Lagos State, full stop. Make sure you insert the punctuation marks, and make sure that each key location occupies a single line. So do not write Sabo High School and then write Ojo on the same line. No. Sabo High School occupies its own line. Ojo occupies its own line. Lagos State occupies its own line. And because Lagos State marks the end of the address, you put a full stop after that. So make sure you observe these simple rules. After that, we have the date, 29th January 2022. Okay, full stop. Take note that after the month, 29th January, we have a comma, then 2022, full stop, because immediately you have written 2022, that brings you to the end of the date. Full stop always signals that what you have intended to write, you have brought it to an end. Okay, so the next thing is the salutation. In a friendly or informal letter, we don't need to write the address of the receiver. And so you only write your own address and date, and you go to the next line at the left-hand side margin, and then you begin with the salutation. And in this case, we have written, "Dear Rose." Take note that there is a comma after "Dear Rose." There is a common mistake that students make. Some leave a space before they write "Dear." No, this is not acceptable. Don't leave any space. Write "Dear Rose." Your "dear" should begin at the starting point of the left margin. Don't leave any space. You only leave a space when you write a new paragraph. And we are going to that. So "Dear Rose," comma, and then in the next line, you begin your first paragraph, which is where you have your introduction. Remember that, the content of your letter should be divided into three parts: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. The first paragraph is for introduction. And then paragraphs 2, 3, and 4 will form the body of your letter, because here you are going to discuss three things that make life interesting in your school. And you are going to discuss each main point in one paragraph. So you are going to write 3 paragraphs as part of the body of your essay or of your letter, please. All right, so let's look at the introduction. Now, another thing you must take note of is that your introductory paragraph should contain some essential points. Now, let me explain to you some of these essential points that must be included in your introductory paragraph. Okay? Now, the first one is the subject matter. Okay? Whenever you write a letter, make sure you start with the subject matter. Although in an informal letter, you can start with greetings, but those ones are just taken as exchange of pleasantries or making inquiries about the receiver's welfare. Those are, they are all part of it. But when you start to really discuss the purpose of your letter, the first thing is the subject matter. followed by the thesis. All right. Now, the subject matter is really the main purpose, the reason why you are writing this letter, the subject for discussion, what you really want to talk about. You must mention it. All right. Then the thesis is the main idea you want to really talk about. You know, when you talk about a subject matter or a topic, you know, you are talking of things of interest. There are so many things of interest in a school. So from which angle are you going to look at it? That is your thesis. All right, that is your thesis. The angle, the specific angle, the perspective from which you want to discuss the topic or the subject matter is called the thesis. Then number 3, we have enumeration. Enumeration is optional. And one thing that we can also add to subject matter is background information. Background information. Okay, let me abbreviate it as BI. Background information. You know, when you want to discuss something, it's good you give some information. The reader must know exactly why you are discussing this. Otherwise, it just appears so superficial, so artificial. You know, you need to connect your ideas. Somebody need to understand where you are coming from. And that is the background information that is necessary. I will show you what this boils down to. Then your enumeration is optional, and it has to do like the 3 things of interest you are asked to discuss. You can list them. To enumerate means to list. I mean to write a list of something. So you can enumerate it as part of your introduction, and it enriches your introduction, and it actually wins the admiration of the examiner or the reader, because the reader knows that you really understand what you are doing. You know your onions, so to say. Okay, so having said that, then the 4th one, which is also optional, is what we call the intro. The intro is simply a sentence that takes the reader from the introduction to the body of the letter. You are now announcing that you have finished introducing the subject and you are going to begin to talk about it. So that is optional, really. Okay, so let us now look at all these and see how we can use them, okay? Okay, so after the arrows, let's look at our introductory paragraph and how we have been able to do justice to it. And let's look at how many of these ingredients we have been able to incorporate in our first paragraph. Now listen, you know, as I read, how are you doing? This is acceptable in a friendly letter. You can start, you know, on a conversational note. That is acceptable. How are you doing? How is everyone in the family? These questions are all acceptable. Then you give a background. You can give a background before you actually come up with the subject matter. And that's a very clever, a very smart way to do it. I was happy to hear about some recent developments in your school, as you mentioned in your last letter. You are now assuming that your friend had previously written to you and had made mention of some recent developments that were quite interesting in their school. And then you continue. It is gratifying to see that you are beginning to find school life interesting, even in the village. You see, you are touching the vital points that the examiner wants you to touch. The examiner told you that your friend is schooling in the village. So it is good you paint that picture in your writing. On my own part, I will share with you 3 things in my school that make school life interesting. You see, this is the subject matter. But before you came to the subject matter, you had given the background information. Your friend previously wrote to you and mentioned certain interesting things. And because you are in the habit of exchanging ideas, exchanging and sharing your experiences with each other, is also acceptable. You know, it is part of what makes a relationship worthwhile when you also share what is happening in your school with your friend. After all, one good turn deserves another. Okay, so let's continue. So you wrote here, on my part, I will share with you 3 things in my school that make school life interesting. They are the newly renovated school library, the clubs and societies, and the weekly spelling bee. Now you have, this is your enumeration, all right? So you have incorporated 3 of these, okay? Subject matter, background information, thesis, and enumeration. You have left this because sometimes you don't have to really make your writing too boring. Sometimes you can skip certain things and just go straight into what you are talking about. Otherwise, if you want to know how to use the intro, when you get to this point, you can simply say, in the following paragraph, I am going to discuss these 3 interesting things one by one. Well, it might not be necessary really with the way we have already, with what we have already said in our introductory paragraph. We can suffice it at this point. Okay, so now when we start with our second paragraph, we are going to discuss the first point. And the first point here in our enumeration is the newly renovated school library. You are saying that this is one of the things that is making life really, school life really interesting for you. It's your personal experience. Another person's experience may be different, but this is your personal letter. This is your personal experience, and you are sharing it with your friends. So what really makes life interesting to you is your choice. All right. To start with, the school library was recently renovated and stocked with new books. Now, at this starting point, you have made a sentence that you have constructed a sentence which we call the topic sentence. This topic sentence conveys the key point you want to discuss in paragraph 2. And then after this, other sentences you are going to include in that paragraph 2 will just be to support what you have already said in that first sentence. So let's read it again, and then we read the supporting sentences, or if you like, the supporting details, as we call them. To start with, the school library was recently renovated and stocked with new books. As you know, I really enjoy reading books. You are now explaining why this is really one of the things that really make school life interesting to you. You enjoy reading books. So, you know, when the school has renovated the library and a lot of interesting things are there, then of course, it increases your interest in school life. Let's continue. Besides, the library gives me an alternative place to escape from the deafening noise that prevails whenever there's no lesson going on in the class. Okay? You have given another reason why it gives you great interest, great pleasure to use the library. But what I find most interesting about the new library is the facility and the freedom to search for things on the internet. So this brings us to the next paragraph, which is the third paragraph, where we want to discuss the second point of interest. In our enumeration, we listed clubs and societies after the newly renovated school library. So let's look at how we have put it in this sample here. Clubs and societies come up as the last period on the school timetable every Wednesday. So you can see that this has been put simply here. This is the topic sentence. Then other sentences will support what has already been said here. What you are saying here is that clubs and society form part of what makes school life interesting to you. All right. And since you have said it, you have to explain why it is interesting. Okay, so we now continue. It is always a period I look forward to because it gives me the opportunity to join my favorite society, the Literary and Debating Society. You see, when you write like this, it shows that you are an arts-inclined student and you belong to the Literary and Debating Society. Let's assume you are a science-inclined student. You'll be talking of the Jet Club. If you are a commercial student, you should be talking about the commercial class or the business class. If you belong to the Young Farmers Club, then you can mention it. It's all about your personal interest. What makes life interesting to you may be different from what makes life interesting to another. All right? Depending on where your interest lies. Okay, so let's continue. This is where the future leaders are taught how to put on their thinking caps and produce reasons instead of abuses and fisticuffs. What I love most about debating is that it helps one to develop one's thinking and communicative, and public speaking abilities, which every leader must possess. So you are saying that, you are interested in clubs and societies, that period that clubs and societies meet in their various groups. And the reason you are really interested in it is that you enjoy, being or participating in the activities of the Literary and Debating Society. Now, this takes us to the next point, where we discuss the spelling bee. That is the last point we listed in our enumeration. Finally, the spelling bee, okay, is a weekly event in my school. So you can see here, now having stated the topic statement, the topic sentence, the next thing is for you to discuss the supporting details. You have said here, finally, the spelling bee is a weekly event in my school. You are now going to discuss the details, why the spelling bee is among the things that make school life very interesting to you. And so let's read the remaining part of this paragraph. The competition gives me the most enjoyable moments because English is my favorite subject and I am good at spelling English words. So you are now explaining why you are specifically interested in the spelling bee. The atmosphere during the competition is quite interesting and all students enjoy the moments when the spellers are given new and unfamiliar words to contend with. Those who spell correctly are applauded, while those who spell wrongly are greeted with silence, and the bell which confirms that they have finally lost some points. You see, you are explaining how you enjoy every moment of the spelling bee competition. Let's continue. I enjoy every moment of it. What I enjoy most is when my group emerges the winner and it becomes clear that we are going to receive the much desired awards from the principal. So you see, you have really explained why it is really interesting to you. Then in the next paragraph, we are going to conclude our letter. We bring our letter to a close. Okay, now this is what we have in the final paragraph. In conclusion, I must say that I am proud of my school for providing the suitable environment for both curricular and extracurricular activities. You see, you are summarizing. You are saying that you are proud of your school for providing the environment for making that make school life interesting to every student. And you are talking about curricular and extracurricular activities. Now, curricular activities are the regular academic work, and the extracurricular activities refer to these things you have mentioned, you know, clubs and societies, and so on. All right. Among them, the three things discussed above make school life most interesting to me. You have really you have concluded. All right. Then what is also important is to extend some greetings. And here you can write, give my warm regards to your parents and siblings, or you can say, extend my greetings to your parents and siblings. Take care. So that brings our letter to an end, and the closing greeting or the subscription, you come to the right-hand side and you write yours sincerely, followed by a comma, and then your first name, Messi. Let's assume Messi is the writer of this letter. Messi, writing to Rose. Messi, full stop. All right, so this is exactly how it has been in today's class. All right. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. And if you did, make sure you like the video and share it with your friends and relations. We have been looking at a letter that describes things of interest and how to improve your writing skills. I hope you really understood the various steps and procedures that we discussed, you know, that actually give you the hints on how to write a letter like this. Now, if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Make sure you click on the bell icon as well, so that whenever a new video is uploaded on this channel, you will be notified instantly. I've included a free PDF file which you can download free of charge in the description box. You will find the link. Just click on it and you can download the PDF file freely. It teaches you the basic units of English grammar. You will also find my ebook titled Good Success in English. It's an all-encompassing ebook. It's a complete study package for effective English learning. Whether you are learning English as a foreign language or learning English as a second language, or you are just embarking on an academic course of study and English is central, then of course this book is very important. It is a great ally to all English learners because it teaches virtually all the major areas of proficiency in the use of English. Whether you are talking about the writing skills, you know, like the one we have discussed, You know, all the various forms of writing, letter writing, essay writing, article writing, speech writing, report writing, debate writing, uh, story writing, you name it, they are all adequately explained in this book. Then you have a chapter on comprehension, a chapter on summary writing, you have a chapter on the various chapters on various grammatical structures, units of grammar, ranging from morpheme to words to phrases to clauses to sentences. All right. And you have various grammatical rules, hints on lexis and structure, and so on and so forth. Then you have a chapter on spelling rules, a chapter on punctuation marks. Then, most importantly, spoken English, you know, talking about the phonology, phonetics and phonology of the English language, vowel sounds, consonant sounds, stress patterns, and so on and so forth, emphatic stress, word stress, different types of stress, and rhymes. All right. So they are all discussed in the book. And in addition to all this, you will find past English questions, English past questions and answers treated with clear illustrations like the one you find in this video. And they are all very useful, very clearly explained. So if you are interested in the book, you click on the link in the description box. It will take you to the book page where you can grab a copy of the ebook. So that is exactly a specially packaged ebook for you, where you will find virtually every topic of interest in English and very, very adequate explanation on it. Now, having said this, if you have any questions, suggestions, or even comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye for now and remain blessed. Many thanks for watching today's video. A big thank you to all of you out there for being part of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now as a way of giving us support. For notification about new videos, click on the bell icon. You will find the bell icon. Click on it so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be instantly notified. If you have actually enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends and relatives. This is very important. If you have any comments, leave your comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, we would gladly receive them and respond promptly and positively to them. See you in the next video. I look forward to always seeing you in the new video.